ECU?
R.
Do you bleed purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors?
Hoist the colors!
It's time for the most in-depth look into the world of ECU athletics. Welcome to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Here's Stephen Igo.
It is Monday, March 9th. Grateful to have you guys with us as we'll recap another ECU baseball week that was. We'll talk to head coach Cliff Godwin over the next hour. Also, the Pirate basketball season has officially and unfortunately come to an end on the men's side as they lose to UAB in the season finale. They will not be going to the conference tournament after suffering their 20th loss of the season, so we'll break that down. Get into some big picture discussion. But just to give you guys an update for the week ahead, Tuesday's show, our plan is to dive more into the roster going forward, Coach Schwartz's plan going forward, what they need to do. On Tuesday, we'll have that discussion, but certainly disappointing to see the Pirates not make the conference tournament. We'll discuss that towards the back half of the show. A lot of baseball talk early as well. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. If you've got a question, comment, and concern, drop it in the chat. As always, you can also listen to our show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well. All right, today we've got Philip Pilkington join us. He is back in the 94.3 The Game studios, and it was a weekend together off the air for Philip and I, for much of the weekend at least. I joined his family. By the way, shout out to Mama Pilkington for running a successful marathon, the Myrtle Beach Marathon. She did a phenomenal job, sub 4 hours, which is incredible in my opinion. And it was cool to hang out with your folks, Philip, and appreciate you guys having me. And we got to see some fun baseball. I know the series did not go ECU's way, but it was a competitive series, and I think overall a good weekend, at least for us.
It was, yeah. I mean, it was really great having you. It was a good time. It was a fun hangout, fun weekend. Obviously, we wish it could have been 2-1 or maybe even 3-0 as opposed to 1-2. But hey, you know what? The tough thing maybe now is you don't host. I don't think it's totally out of the picture, but it definitely, I wouldn't say it hurt, but it had a huge opportunity to help you get there, and it kind of just kept you where you were at. But it showed that East Carolina can go on the road and play competitive baseball in a tough environment. So the Pirate fans traveled well. It was hot. And look, Coach said he challenged the players, and they found a way yesterday to win it, I guess what ended up being 10-4. So overall, good weekend, I think. And we'll deep dive into the X's and O's of it here in a second.
By the way, before I forget, I do want to give a shout-out to the softball team as well. They win a series over Wichita State in my opinion, impressive fashion, losing the Friday game in disappointing fashion, 14-5. Then they come back, beat Wichita 8-0, run rule them on Saturday, and then shut them out again on Sunday 3-0. And that was also after a midweek win over Campbell. So Shane Winkler's club 17-9, 2-1 in the conference. They face a stiff test this week going on the road to FAU to continue league play. FAU is one of the better teams in the league year in and year out. We just want to give them a shout out as well. All right, so this baseball series, this baseball team, Philip, I said after Saturday's game that there was a panic. Look, and not by everybody, but I monitor an ECU sports message board, and there was a lot of people that were upset. Now, some were like over the top, but you had like a lot of diehard fans upset. ECU at that point, I think, was 1-6. I think in their last 7 versus Coastal. Obviously, Coastal made the national championship last year. They beat them in the regional. They won 2 out of 3 last season. And you had found a way to lose the first 2 games. But I kind of felt like this team is not that far away. I still feel that way after the weekend. Like, obviously, yes, you want them to win the series. Yes, you want them to have that marquee series win. You do have that opportunity coming up at UTSA. We'll see how the season kind of transpires going into that. But, like, I still like the bones of this team. It's just been kind of a weird start. Like, the record isn't what anybody wants it to be. But we see the upside of this team when they're clicking, especially offensively. We know the top-end pitching is there. The bullpen has been good at times, and then it let them down on Friday and Saturday to a degree. The defense, until the first 2 games of this weekend, have been really good and turning in the right direction. So, like, I don't know if it was the moment that got to them and Coastal maybe just handled the moment a little bit better Friday and Saturday because they've been there and done that, and they were at home. But like I'm kind of wrestling it with it in my head too. Like I think this team can still go win a regional. We'll see down the line if they have a chance to host. But like I just feel like at some point maybe they've got to hit their stride. Maybe that's coming up with the schedule softening. We'll get to that in a minute. But I still feel pretty good about this team. Like I think a lot of people would feel better. Let's say you play a weaker team this week and you sweep them. Now, people may feel better, but does it do as much for you in the long run? I don't think so. So I think we have to keep that in mind. That, yeah, if you could go back and have the Xavier series win, the Campbell win, yeah, you'd feel a lot better. But the team is still in a decent spot. It's just maybe the record is not what Pirate fans want.
I think right now, you did. No, but, I think big picture is the whole point of this, right? And right now, do you feel like the baseball you're playing will win you a regional? No. Do you think the ceiling of this team and what we've seen when they are playing well, they are good enough to win a regional? Yes. It's a matter of getting more consistent, putting it together, and continuing to improve. And I think the reason there's so much panic is because there has been so many years where this early in the season, ECU already looks like a regional host team and a regional winning team. And that's great. And it does stink that this year isn't maybe what we're quite used to, but it doesn't mean that the goals that we've set for ourselves are not still reachable. They've done nothing, again, to hurt really their chances of hosting. They just really haven't done anything to help their chances. Now, the tough thing is we do not have a lot of opportunities, but with how UTSA is playing, how Charlotte's playing, you get UTSA on the road. If you can go out there and win that series or get a sweep, you'd feel really good. If Charlotte continues to roll, I know we don't really like pulling for Charlotte, but they got some tough midweeks coming up. We probably need to pull for Charlotte to win those games, and then you can be in a good spot. So, and you know what? Even if we don't host, I want it to be in Clark Eau Claire. We all do. It's more fun when it's at home. But you know what? The Pirate Nation's going to travel, and sometimes the only thing better than winning at home is shutting up a rowdy, hostile crowd.
And it's just there's just so much time left. I feel like, I look at the RPI, which is hard to even look at from an individual team perspective this early in the season, but the American currently is ranked the sixth best league, and that number may or may not, stay the same, or there may or may not stay the same depending on what happens. But they're within striking distance of the Big Ten. I think once the Big Ten stops playing so many road games, the American could conceivably pass them as well. But I just think that the league is better this year, and if you win the league, you're going to have a chance to host. Now, there's a lot that has to happen between now and then. ECU's got to get a lot better, a lot more consistent, as we've mentioned. But it's just one of those things. The offensive, the offense, it's like it's either all or nothing right now, Philip. And ECU's always had, to a degree, a momentum-based offense under Cliff Godwin. It's like once they get people on base, they can play the small ball, they can steal bases, and that certainly applies to this year to some extent. But it's almost like, man, they just either are on everything on the barrel and crushing it like we saw on Sunday, or there's just absolutely nothing going. The thing I like is they're still not striking out. They put the ball in play, and I guess it's just I did ask Cliff Godwin this morning, kind of find the balance of that, maybe getting some more power, but it's just I still like the underlying things about this team as a whole. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of hard to put your finger on, like, day to day, what this team offensively especially is going to be, because it just seems to be kind of all over the place at this point.
I wonder if that's why people are more frustrated. It's almost like if you were going up there and you were having uncompetitive ABs time in and time out, you could just be like, well, we suck. This team's just bad, and there's nothing we can do. But the thing is, because this team doesn't suck, and this team isn't bad, and they are having competitive ABs, and they're not striking out, you're like, well, they could be. They have a really high ceiling. Why aren't we reaching it? I think that's where the frustration's coming in, and I get it. But also, like, to your point, Steven, like, we just got to find that balance, because Friday and Saturday, you're 0 for 16 over a 19-inning span with 2 outs. That means you had 3 inning double plays, and then you were 0 for 16 other than that. And then you score 10 runs on Sunday, and 8 of them are 2-out RBIs. So you're right. It kind of is all or nothing, and that's not how you want to be going into postseason play. But if you're all's this good this early, and you can find a way to be more consistent, it's like I said, all the goals are still in front of us. There's no reason to hit the panic button. Now, if your solely only goal as a Pirate fan, 100% is you don't care what happens in the postseason as long as we host a regional. Okay, maybe if that's the only goal you have, okay, hit the panic button because it's an uphill climb. But
no doubt.
Yeah.
But a lot of baseball left. I mean, nobody thought they'd host when they started 22, 2-5, swept by Bryant, lost the series to UNC, and I'm not saying they're going to do that again, but like Mark Edge is in the comments saying, good Lord, imagine uttering the word hosting regarding this group. There's still 45 games left. There's 40 games left. There's still a lot of ball to be played. So you can't write off anything. I've seen crazy things. And again, if you win the league, a top 5, top 6 league, you could be in that conversation depending on other metrics. All right. Some other comments here. Cameron says, here is the problem with this team. For the last 3 years, your best offensive players have been freshmen and sophomores. The upperclassmen have been on our team, have failed to deliver offensively. He also adds the issue clearly has been we have missed on recruiting cycles. I fully believe in the talent the young guys have, but we are playing teams filled with juniors and seniors. I think that's a fair take. I mean, look, the recruiting, in my opinion, if you compare, especially position player, if you compare this position player group to the position player group of the 2018 to 2022 run, like it is not what it used to be, especially from an offensive perspective. Those teams struck fear in opposing pitching staffs. This team doesn't quite have that. I do think they have better top-end talent on the mound, but I think positionally they have missed. I mean, you even look at a guy like Bristol Carter who's crushing it for Auburn right now. Well, he would be your junior starting outfielder if he would have stayed. Imagine him being alongside Grady Linehan and Jack Carey in the outfield. That'd be a pretty good outfield. Colby Thorndike, I mean, I've never seen an opposing player have as much Babbitt luck, Phillip, and I credit him for putting the bat on the ball. This dude, like, he'll get jammed, falls in, hit it off the end of the bat, infield hit. Good player, but man, like he's like the second coming versus the Pirates. Maybe it's the baseball gods paying him back. I don't know.
I guess, yeah, baseball gods paying him back because he never got in the game in a Pirate uniform. I don't know. It's weird, but you're mentioning that it goes back to that thing. I think you wrote an article on it, and it's good to go back and read. If not, we did a show on it. You were kind of talking about how there were a couple classes in there that did not pan out how we wanted them to. I think it was Dixon's class. Was Dixon like the only guy who was here?
Was the only guy.
Yeah.
He would be a senior, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, my point is it's a fair point, right? Like, I get where people are coming from, and hopefully, the thing is, it is a good young core right now. Like, Braden, yeah, he's only a sophomore, but, like, he's an upperclassman when it comes to maturity and abilities and all that. So, you get Lashley in the portal. He's a junior. Like, you got some guys.
That's the thing. You've had to kind of supplement that class with transfers, and I'm not ready to write off Vogely. I'm not ready to write off Hakame. I said I'm not ready to write off Sabater. Like I think all these guys are going to play a role. Even Boucher is a senior now. We saw him get a clutch hit in the finale. Like it just takes time to, and for whatever reason, ECU we see it take till like mid-season to solidify a lineup, and maybe that's part something ECU could do better. Is try to have more of a lineup, but to a degree, that's baseball too. You just don't know until you throw them out there in certain situations to find out what's best with what. But, like, to me, and I asked Cliff about it here shortly, the DH spot and the left field spot, those are the positions now that Braxton Trammell is unable to play, obviously, for the season. Could fill one of those, but instead, those are the two spots, Phillip, where Cliff is just waiting for somebody to step up and take the job. So right now they're playing different guys, but until somebody consistently hits or plays great defense, it's just kind of a revolving door.
Steven, there's been teams win a World Series that did not know who their starting 9 guys were the first week of September. It's tough. Baseball's a long season. I think the tough thing too about this situation is everything you're saying is true, but it's so hard in college baseball with so many teams to keep up with every other team. It'd be a good thing to get the Carolina Curveball guys on or Wags on about, like, how many other teams who are really good. I'm talking like the perennial SEC teams year in and year out have the same struggles as East Carolina where they don't have their lineup solidified till late April, early May. I'm going to go on a limb and say we are not the only one with this problem. And I'm like I said, I'm going on a limb. I don't know. It's so tough to keep up with every team. College baseball, so many games, so many teams, but I'm sure we're not the only one that feels this way right now.
Final few things we're going to break in. Kenny says a little concerned with the lack of power with the ball out of the park, but I did love seeing all those singles and doubles yesterday. Huge week, 8 out of 9 games before conference. Yes, ECU has hit 10 home runs in, I believe, 17 games, now 16 games, whatever it is. And it's just not enough. They've given up 20. Again, we talked about it. Vogeley, Irby, Wallace, you've got one combined homer from that group. So they expected more. Maybe more will come. There's a guy for UAB who has hit 10 home runs by himself. And they have 34 home runs as a team. I don't know if UAB plans in a bandbox, but they play ECU to Open Conference. But I was looking at their numbers yesterday. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I think his name is John Paul Head. He's got 10 home runs as a player. ECU has 10 home runs as a team. The other thing, Philip, I want to bring up before we get to this Cliff interview, we talked about it when ECU was 3-4-1. There were 14 games before conference play started against UAB. I said the Pirates need to go 10-4 over the next 14 at least. They've gone 5-3. I think they're on track, though, because you look at it, you got ODU at William & Mary, UPenn for 3, and Elon. I mean, realistically, if you play your best brand of baseball, you could go 6-0 in those games. That would put you at 11-3 in that stretch. I think if you go 5-1, that's not the end of the world either. You're 10-4, and at that point, you'd be 13-8-1. If you sweep those games, you're 14-7-1, and then I think you're kind of where you need to be going into conference play. So just to kind of remind folks, the schedule has been tough. I think it lightens up. Now the team has to take advantage of it. It's their job to go out, win games, and get some confidence, find some more roles, and build on it.
Yeah, I mean, look, this schedule is front-loaded. Xavier's not a bad ball club. Teams that came in here for the LeClaire Classic are good ball clubs. Like, Coastal's the national runner-up. Carolina's got the second-best pitching staff in the country. So, I mean, yeah.
Take care of business, and it'll make everybody feel a lot better, but we'll see how it starts Tuesday against Old Dominion. All right, we got to get to Cliff Godwin, head coach of ECU baseball. We'll do that on the other side.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arrgh! In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville patio and hearth shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
The Pirates play here.
Time to play the game!
This is Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back into Hoist the Colors. It is time for our weekly chat with head coach Cliff Godwin. Always gracious with his time to join us on Mondays. And Pirates coming off a 2-2 week, win the midweek game at UNCW, drop the first two in a close fashion at Coastal, and then win the finale in shortened fashion due to some weather, but still a pretty dominant fashion on Sunday. And, Coach, we always start just kind of your overall thoughts, takeaways from the week, so we'll start there again. Your thoughts on the Pirates' 2-2 week.
I thought we played really good at UNCW. It's always tough to win there. I never feel like our hitters see the baseball well. It's just not a good backdrop, and we always strike out more than we historically do. I mean, this year's team, as far as strike freebies, which walks and HBPs, we're almost 1 for 1, which this day and age is like unheard of. And then Friday, I didn't think we were very good offensively early. I didn't think we were very good defensively early as far as making plays to help Norby out. Really, Norby should only given up 1 run. Now, they didn't score, a few of the plays errors, which we needed to make some of those plays. And it would have been a 1-0 game when he came out. And then we put together a big inning. I guess it was the 8th inning, and take the lead. And right now, the little things that we're not doing right are coming back to, bite us. We hit a guy, Sean does, after striking out leadoff guy. Next guy singles. Davin does a really good job cutting the ball off, so it's first and second. Forget how they get second and third, but you got 2 outs, 0-2 to a guy who's not hitting good, but he's a senior. He's been in the fire, the second baseman, and it's an 0-2 slider that we called to be down and in, and it's down, but it's just down the middle, and he smokes it to Irby. Irby lays out and makes a great play, and Sean's a little bit late getting over there, and then the guy just wheels from second. There's a lot of things during that play that we should have probably done a little bit differently. As I told Sean, if that's inside, even if he makes contact, it's a foul ball. But those little things are biting us, and then we kind of Houdini'd our way out of the 9th inning, and we just hit into double plays with a freshman on the mound. I didn't think our at-bats were as competitive as they should be. And they get a good swing on a bad 0-2 pitch and hit a grand slam, and you lose the game. So, and then Saturday we were pathetic offensively. In my opinion, their guy did do a good job, but we just were not on the barrel enough, and just wasted a really quality start by Gavin Van Kempen. He was tremendous. And then I challenged the guys before yesterday's game that we have to be mentally tougher. We're plenty talented enough to play better winning baseball, and we're going to make winning plays. And I thought our guys responded in a very, very positive way yesterday.
East Carolina head coach Cliff Godwin with us, and Coach, you kind of touched on it with the offense. I think I ran the numbers, striking out only around 5 times on average per game right before you joined us, and you mentioned the freebies are up there, so you have to like that aspect of it. I guess kind of what's the balance of, obviously you don't want to just go up there and give away outs with weaker contact. Not that I'm saying y'all are doing that all the time, but that versus you obviously want to put the ball in play with authority, and you guys are doing that also. So just, do you like the approach thus far, and the fact that you guys aren't really striking out a lot, which generally leads to success?
I think they need to get off there. We've talked about this, and Coach Grotro is. Look, I hired him because I know he's one of the best hitting coaches in the country. So, for the naysayers out there, they can, no offense, go get on their keyboard and say whatever the hell they want to say. But the guy's awesome. His track record speaks for itself. Our guys are at times, just playing in a straitjacket, and that's my job. They got to free up and they may get their A swing off before two strikes, and then we call it 2K fight, and they're doing a great job with that. So just getting their A swing off, looking for the area, the pitch that they're looking for, and getting on the barrel. And at times we do a really good job of that. We just have not been consistent enough with it. We just have like games instead of, okay, let's do it for a couple innings on one game and then get back locked in. But we, as you can see, I mean, look, the guy that pitched yesterday for Coastal, for all these fans, he stuffed Ole Miss last weekend, stuffed them. And I don't know what the box score is. I go, you probably got it there, but what did he get, 2 innings against us?
Got hit pretty
And
good.
yeah, got hit pretty good. And our guys had a very competitive mindset, had a good plan going in, and we're ready to rock and roll. So when they're that way, we're pretty good. So we just got to consistently do it at a higher level.
Coach, going back to the UNC Wilmington game too, midweek, and Joseph Webb. Now, I got to be honest, I was watching on the Flow Sports stream, which isn't the best in the world, but it didn't seem like he was calling his own pitches. And I know that he started the year doing that. So was that done to obviously take some thinking out? Because it just seemed like he was getting it and throwing it, and obviously threw the ball well. So his progression, and did you guys make a change there?
Well, you guys are a little bit delayed on that, so he actually stopped that a couple weeks ago. But you guys just weren't watching keenly enough, so he felt like he was thinking too much, and just the pace of play was slow for our defense. And so him and AK just came up with it, and so he goes, "AK, I trust you," and just it allows me to go out there and be in a competitive mindset and just execute pitches. So, of course, like all of our pitchers, they have the ability to shape, but right now AK is calling Joe Webb's game.
And just, we know the stuff is there. So when he gets ahead, we saw how effective he can be. And just how much can that help your bullpen? How much can it help his confidence just to have an outing like that?
Of course. Look, I mean, he's done it since the day he stepped foot on campus. And, with a few of our players, and I've said this, and this isn't a crutch, but I'd rather have it this way than not. They're really good human beings. So when it doesn't go well and they've worked hard, it works against them at a higher level. So then they start pressing, they start doubting themselves because they're good humans. But Joe is really good. He's going to be a big piece for us. And there's some other players, not just on the pitching side, that are, pressing, feel like they're letting the coaches down, letting their teammates down because they're not playing at the level, but we'll get them going.
Coach, you made the comment after yesterday's game, Coach Godwin's going to coach him hard. I can't remember the exact quote, but you kind of, said that in general because you guys are, such a good group of human beings. So, when you say that, is that just, I don't know, jumping them more throughout the game? Is it motivation going into a game? Kind of what does that entail? And how does that evolve throughout a season? Because we talked about it before in past years, but like every weekend you're learning something new about how a player responds to something or something along those lines.
Well, this group, and I'm going to have a staff meeting here in a few minutes and tell our staff the same thing, but this group has responded when we have challenged them. So we need to challenge them more. We need to not necessarily have longer practices, but have practices with intentionality, detail, hold them to a standard. And that doesn't mean that you have got to yell and scream, but like, hey, how we're going to do it. I mean, yesterday, and somebody told me on the bus ride home that the broadcast was talking about, man, they had 2 pitching machines out there, and man, we've never seen that before in a pregame thing. Well, we're going to challenge our hitters at a higher level, so then hopefully the game is a little bit easier for them. The pitcher they're facing, it seems a little bit easier than what they saw in batting practice. So just more stuff like that. And like I said, it is a good group. And I told them I owed that to them because we're talented. We're going to be a great team. Right now, our record does not show that. We just got to be a little bit more consistent in a few areas. And once that gets rolling, that momentum thing, Big Mo will start rolling, and it'll become an avalanche, and we'll like where we are at the end of the season.
Cliff Godwin with us, ECU baseball coach, wrapping up the Pirates 2-2 week. Coach, the Coastal Carolina series, you guys obviously did the home and home, and then you had the regional in between. Is that something you would like to continue? I mean, it feels like ECU had a ton of fans there this weekend. They brought some fans. Is that something you guys would be interested in continuing?
No, we've agreed to continue it. Also, our athletic department, I don't know what I'm supposed to say, not supposed to say, but just with a lot of sports, I think that's going to be, in the future, you're going to see a lot of sports playing Coastal home and home. So, but the reason we hadn't done it is just the midweek for us. It's just tough. I mean, you're talking about, a little bit over 3 hours to get down there is tough in a midweek scenario. But when you talk about a weekend series, we're more than happy to go there and play and for them to come play us. So next year they'll be playing us a 3-game series at Clark LeClaire.
I think both fans will be excited to hear that. Both fan bases will be, as I think it's a great series for both institutions. Coach Walker Barron had a really good week, and obviously I know you guys, defense is key with the catcher. It seems like early in the season maybe I'll challenge him a bit, and he's responded to that. And then offensively, he's hitting the ball the other way now. Just what are you seeing from Walker, how he's responded to this?
I told him yesterday, had to use the restroom in the bus, and he always sits in the back. I said, hey, man, you're playing winning baseball, and I appreciate it. Walker has had the tendency at times when he gets comfortable that he doesn't he's not as mentally engaged as you need to be as a catcher or as an offensive player. He's played great. I mean, I think from the Saturday game against Carolina until present day, he's played awesome. Going into the season, we were planning on platooning him and Kalinich, and Walker has just played phenomenal. And of course, Mike came off the bench and had a big 2-run jack against their reliever on, I guess that would have been Friday night. So was happy to see that because Mike's been really, really working hard with Coach Gautreau and Coach Packard to just tighten up his swing a little bit. And that was a big swing to get us going.
Yeah, that left field and DH spot, Coach, seems like you're trying to find. And we've seen guys like Whitaker, we saw Saver come back. And, Bogley's had good at-bats, maybe not with the results. And obviously Boucher at the DH spot Sunday. Is that kind of two roles where it's just you want somebody to come out and to step up and take it consistently, or do you see different guys being thrown in there and depending on situations, that sort of thing?
I go, the answer to that question. I'd love for somebody to go, hey, that's my spot, and I think all three of them, or four of them, really bring different things to the table. And, I really think Vogie is a guy that can hit the middle of our lineup. He just has not shown it to this point, but he doesn't chase out of the zone. He just has not shown the power that he has. And I think he's another guy that is, trying to be a pleaser and trying to do things right. And, yesterday I got on him at BP. I was like, hey, man, I need you to swing hard, hit the ball in the air. And next swing was like a home run to dead center. It's like, yes, that's what we need. It was off a pitch machine throwing hard. So Vogie's coming. Davin, has played fine. He's our best defensive left fielder right now with AP being down. Sab, of course, can really run. So they all bring something different, but I was really happy for Boucher, coming off the bad ankle sprain and really not knowing, Saturday night who run DH. And the guy yesterday, he really spun the ball really well. You could see early on, and he struck out some of our guys, but with a big breaking ball and a harder slider. And Boo had a really, really great at bat, his first at bat, and with 2 strikes, 2 out, second and third, and smokes the ball up the middle for 2 RBIs with 2 outs. And I really thought that was a big momentum swing because we were already up 2-0, but that made it 4-0 at that time.
A couple more things with Cliff Godwin. We'll get him out of here on this Monday. And I know I asked about Gavin Van Kempen last week, Coach, and I wrote about him after Saturday, but I feel like we got to go a little bit deeper on just his development because he's obviously always had the stuff at West Virginia. Credit to Austin Knight for kind of, it seems like, finding a plan to take his game to the next level. So what do you remember about his recruitment process and how much maybe he's grown since he got here?
It's comical. We can't talk about the ins and outs of his recruitment process because, of course, different people get involved in that. And Coach Godwin wasn't very happy. And I actually told GVK about it in December. We were talking, and he's been awesome since he's been here. Like, he has, in my opinion, of course, gotten a lot better on the mound. Coach Knight's done a tremendous job, and Jake Agnos, just with his presence and everything he's been through, has helped him as well. And I think the structure of our organization, like the daily schedules that our guys do, has really helped GVK. He has never been a great student, and actually our academic advisor, Fallon Morello, she was actually at West Virginia his freshman year. And then when we got him committed, she was like, oh my God, I've got to deal with him again. But he's been awesome academically because of the structure that we have in our program. And he's just been a pleasure to be around. I think he's grown up a whole lot, mentally. And of course, he has performed at a very high level. And man, I think his future is very, very bright, not just at East Carolina, but for professional baseball as well.
Coach, 5 games this week. It is spring break on campus. You guys will host Old Dominion Tuesday, go to William & Mary Wednesday, and then host Pennsylvania this weekend in a 3-game set. So 5-game weeks mean a lot of pitchers will get opportunity, a lot of players will get opportunity. How much can your guys grow from a week like this?
Well, we can grow a lot. I'm hoping that I shouldn't say hope. I hate that word. I want our guys to really just take the momentum from yesterday and continue to lean into it and not take our foot off the gas pedal, to come out and play quality baseball tomorrow, and then get on a bus and go to William & Mary and play quality baseball, and not play 13 innings like we did back in 2024, like a 5-hour game. And then, be home for a weekend series against Penn and get ready for conference play. I mean, that's the thing that, I told him yesterday. It's like, hey, in 3 weeks, we're going to UTSA. They're really good. They're really tough, and we've got to get tougher. So that's really what the message has been with our team. We've got to get mentally tougher and have some physical toughness about us. And when we get that consistently, we're going to like what we see on the field consistently.
He is head coach Cliff Godwin. Coach, we appreciate the time. As always, man, each and every Monday, always fun to catch up, and we'll do it again next week.
All right. Thanks, Igo. Thank you.
That is Cliff Godwin. We'll be right back on Hoist the Colors.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown. At National Finance, we're all about hometown support, just like ECU football. National Finance helps us win on and off the field. They've got your back when you need it most. fast, easy personal loans for life's big plays. And just like us, they're committed to Eastern North Carolina. National Finance, proud supporters of ECU Athletics. Visit nfcmoney.com for loans as fast as today.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
Get ready to board. We're live with Steve and Igo on 94.3 The Game. Now, back to Hoist the Colors.
Again, it is Hoist the Colors on a Monday, a busy Monday show. We've talked a lot of baseball. We may hit on the fact that the Coastal Carolina series is going to continue here in a little bit. But right now, we got Philip Bilkinen back in the 94.3 The Game studios, and we got to talk some hoops. The basketball season has come to an end for the men's side. The women's team has a bye to the semifinals. They won their season finale at Tulsa on Saturday. They will play on Friday, and a win gets them to the conference championship. And we don't know the opponent, but we'll keep you up to date on that throughout the week.
Real quick, while we're on women, did you see that Kennedy Fauntleroy, first team all-conference, was just announced?
There you go.
Also, she was conference newcomer of the year and conference defensive player of the year.
Heck yeah. So 2 major awards for Kennedy, which is pretty awesome. And she had a phenomenal year after transferring in to play for Kim McNeil's squad. So great to see that. And I guess, well, I'll ask you this in a minute because the Jordan Riley thing is interesting. But as far as him being all conference, because he led the league in scoring, but he didn't play for a winning team. So we'll discuss that here in a minute. All right, the season comes to an end. Pirates lose 90-83 at UAB. And I do wonder how much of the poor finish was a result of the Memphis finish, which if you weren't following, we tried our best to monitor both. Now, all this was happening like as the ECU game went into a delay in Conway. And it was just hard to keep up with it all. But somehow Tulane blew a lead in overtime. Memphis won on a fluky call with 2 seconds left at the free throw line. They win. ECU was winning at UAB, and then they just collapsed right after that. And somebody told me it was announced at Bartow Arena that Memphis won. So ECU obviously needed a Memphis loss and a win over UAB to make the conference tournament. I don't think it's a surprise. Those two things basically happened at the same time. I wrote that it was fitting for basically to end like that on how the season went, Philip, because look, even if they would have made the conference tournament and won a game, it was still a failure of a season. And anybody involved, I mean, you finished 266 in the net. I mean, it was just not a good season. Anybody involved would be the first to say, injuries aside, it was not good and they need to be better. So, on one hand, I'm disappointed for the players, Jordan Riley, Gio Imajuru, Dimitri Gardner, other seniors that aren't able to continue their careers, but maybe it's not the worst thing in the world. They can just go ahead to the offseason and start working on finding some better talent.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the portal officially is not open yet, but it does open. I think during the NCAA tournament, D2 players can be in. So, yeah, I mean, I think we kind of, the proof was in the pudding very early that this wasn't going to go how we all thought it was going to go or how we all wanted it to go. I think Case and Romali actually came on and predicted exactly 11 wins now that we sit here and I think about it. I think that's what he said. So good job, Kaysen. And Lane, by the way, thanks for Jalen Phillips. He's a Carolina Panther. That's why people were wondering why my face, I got all excited midway through Steven talking.
I did see those eyes get really wide for a minute.
Yeah, so that's what that was. All right. But look, man, you hate it for the seniors especially, man. Nobody, you and I were talking about it in the press box yesterday that Jordan Riley was going to do everything he could to make sure yesterday was not his last college basketball game. And I think once those guys realized that was it, how do you keep playing? At that time, it's just kind of like soak in the moment, realize you're a Division I athlete. You accomplish so many goals you set for yourself as a young kid, and however you go out, you go out. That those final few minutes are not going to define Dimitri's career, Gio's career, Luke's career, or Jordan's career. So I hate them for they lost, but I think, they probably shouldn't have announced that in the arena. That was kind of a jerk thing to do by UAB. I guess that was them trying to, like, win the game, but, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's the benefit of being at home. I agree, it's kind of Bush League, and maybe it was just they announced all the scores in the conference. Maybe that's something they do, but, I don't know. But if you're the Pirates, don't put yourself in that situation. Win some more games. Have a deeper roster. So we'll have more of a big picture discussion about just the state of the program, where the Pirates need to go from here to bounce back next season, which Mike Schwartz after the game was convicted in saying ECU will bounce back. We'll have Darren Vaught on Thursday. He'll kind of, help us autopsy this season and break it down as well. Jordan Riley, fascinating discussion, Philip. Like, basically one of the best statistical scoring seasons in ECU history. I mean, in reality, out of necessity, in many ways, he wasn't the most efficient scorer. Now, everybody that has seen him play, like, I love Jordan Riley to death. Incredible athlete, incredible player. He shot 42% from the field. He was just, I think, one of two players in ECU history to score 700 points in a season. And some of that, again, out of necessity. I always just remember him for leaving it all on the court, more so than the scoring. Like, he played basically 40 minutes a game. He had no help, and he did everything he could, like you said, to try to get ECU and extend their season to the next game. But it just didn't work out. But I'll always remember him for everything he fought for, he played for. Obviously, the dunks, the incredible highlights, the blocks. I mean, freak of nature player. I hope he gets a shot somewhere. My question to you is, all conference-wise, ECU has been kind of shortchanged on this in the past. I think it may have been when you were Jaden Gardner. Mm-hmm. He was leading the league in scoring, and he was left off the all-conference team because ECU was so bad. Do they do that again to a guy who is basically second nationally, third nationally in scoring, last I checked? I don't know the exact, but he's in the top 5. Leads the conference in scoring. I feel like he's got to be on there.
You'd think. But, I mean, stupid stuff's happened. Also, it shows that the women, it looks like they're going back to, at least with the women, they did the 5 people first team, 5 second, 5 third, instead of 10 first and 10 second team, which was stupid. Yeah. I think he at least gets, I have a feeling he gets first team, but they don't give him Conference Player of the Year because the team didn't make the tournament. Which, I mean, like you said, out of necessity, he had to play 40 minutes. Out of necessity, a lot of times he didn't have help. He is the reason that ECU's got as many wins as they have. Like, he is the Player of the Year. I mean, we saw what the team looked like when he didn't play. I'm sorry, but
Elizabeth
we did.
City State should have won.
Yeah. So, now, obviously, league play, we had Meach. That helped a lot. But, yeah, man, like, come on, he's the best player in the conference. And look at the shoes he had to fill. I think that's something you nor I have brought up yet this year. Like, he had to fill the shoes of R.J. Felton. You were told, go be the best player on the team and fill the shoes of the best guy the team has had in 20 years as far as a 4-year guy. And, forever loved in ECU history, R.J. Felton. Now you got to go be the next R.J. Felton. Good luck. And he did it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. He put up better scoring numbers than RJ just because the necessity. He maybe wasn't as efficient, but I would say, both those guys to me, obviously I'll remember CJ Walker, but like RJ and Jordan Riley are a different level because they were here multiple years. Obviously RJ his whole career, Jordan for 2 years, but he could have left and gotten paid a lot of money last year. So I will remember Jordan Riley because of just his play. I will forget this season, though. I will say that. I will forget this season as soon as possible. I know, look, the coaches, the players, they put in the work. They tried to turn it around. They did to a degree, I think 6-6 over their final 12 games, but it's just got to get better. A lot of people are upset with the product, and I understand why. And college basketball is crazy. They can turn it around next year. We saw the Tulsa turnaround this year out of nowhere. So we'll get into more of that discussion on Tuesday. We'll really dive into, are there any pieces of the roster we want back, and what capacity, what do they need to address? We'll do that on Tuesday, and then we'll talk to Darren Vaught on Thursday. play-by-play voice for ECU basketball. Let's get a break in. When we come back, some big NFL free agency news. The Panthers are giving out 4-year, $120 million contracts. We'll break that down. Also, Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP, he's got his next home. We'll have that on the other side. This is Hoist the Colors.
Get ready to bring on the savings at Greenville Toyota with major deals on brand new Toyotas like a Camry, $229 a month, or RAV4, $279 a month. Now's your turn to save at Greenville Toyota.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked to order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
Your future is full of possibilities, and Pitt Community College can help you explore every option. You can earn a degree, learn a trade, transfer to a university, or launch a new career. We offer the support you need to succeed with flexible schedules, affordable tuition, and programs designed for the real world. Your path, your future, your college. Pitt Community College. Register now.
Bring on the savings with new Toyotas from $159 a month at Greenville Toyota. Get huge discounts like Corollas $159 a month or Tacomas $249 a month. Save today at Greenville Toyota.
Loyal and bold with purple and gold.
Yo ho ho!
And we're back to Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. Talked a lot of ECU. I just got to talk some NFL. Free agency. The legal tampering period is open, which means basically you can't officially sign anybody till free agency starts at 4 o'clock on Wednesday, but these guys are agreeing to deals. And we have massive news already. Look, it's overpay season. NFL free agency, that's what it is. You got to overpay to get players in free agency. The Panthers may have overpaid for Jalen Phillips, 4 years, $120 million. That's a lot of money for a dude who does have an injury history and 28 sacks over 5 years. But he's one of the better free agents, Phillip. And how do you feel as a Panthers fan?
Yeah, they definitely overpaid. Like you said, you got to try and build the roster. You got to do this. You're going to have to overpay for 3 or 4 guys and then build the rest of the draft. And look, I think this is one of those where the Panthers, with the rest of the defensive box, which their defensive box is pretty solid right now, this can open up some opportunities for him. He is going to be playing next to an all-pro defensive tackle in Derek Brown, so they're going to have to respect Derek. Derek's not a phenomenal pass rusher, but he can bull rush and does create a lot of havoc. And to put those 2 guys on the same side of the field is going to be something that I think the Panthers can be really successful with. So, yeah, it's an overpay, but all things considered in the world we live in, cap's going up. I'm good with it, to be honest. And there you go, Dan Morgan.
And we also had Alec Pierce, who was the top free agent receiver, return to the Colts for a 4-year, $116 million deal.
Now he got
which is,
overpaid.
A lot of money. Also, the Miami Dolphins are signing Packers quarterback Malik Willis, 3 years, $67.5 million, $45 million guaranteed. Ian Rappaport tweeted the top free agent is off the market, Malik Willis. Did I miss something? Like, am I watching a different NFL than everybody else?
I'm watching the same one you're watching. I think, are you kidding me? I mean, I saw he was going to the Dolphins. I thought they were going to give him, 2 years and $10 million or something to come battle it out for a job with an opt out after the first year where they could pay him if he worked out. What are you doing?
He's thrown for 1,300 yards in his career, 6 touchdowns, 3 picks, but he's the top free agent according to Ian Rappaport. So I don't really know what that's all about. I guess he's a quarterback. That's why.
They are better off asking Dan Marino to come out of retirement like he did in that Pepsi commercial with Jerry Rice and Emmitt Smith.
The Rams signed another cornerback from the Chiefs, Jalen Watson, 3-year, $51 million. And Kenneth Walker is going to the Chiefs, Super Bowl MVP. Running back got a 3-year, $45 million deal, which is $15 million a year for a running back. Makes him in the 3rd or 4th highest paid running back. So, look, this is what happens, man. It's NFL free agency. If you want to make these early splashes, you got to overpay, and it's just part of the deal, like Philip said. So, it's going to be a crazy few days in NFL free agency. The guys don't even take visits anymore. They just sign verbally.
All the locker rooms are the same these days.
Yeah. I used to track all the visits. That was fun, and now it's just craziness. All right, we're out of time. Philip, appreciate you, man.
Yeah, it was fun.
We'll do it again tomorrow.
Sounds good.
And it'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, Max Crosby to the Ravens. It's 100 points out. That happened over the weekend. So, NFL offseason, never short on headlines. We got to get out of here. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll do a full-on autopsy of ECU basketball, what the Pirates need to do moving forward to get back to winning. And we'll preview the ECU baseball week ahead as well. And I'm sure talk some other NFL headlines too. We'll see you then Tuesday, 12 noon.